Hi everyone, it's Chrissie and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. So today we're actually back in Chestnut Ridge. You know, surprise surprise, I've basically been building in Chestnut Ridge like I think practically every video for like the past month has been in this world. Apart from the apartment build that I did, I believe on Sunday. Yeah, I did an apartment on Sunday. But yeah, so we're building in Chestnut Ridge yet again, and we're actually doing another build for my save file. So I don't know if you guys have noticed this kind of pattern happening. If you've been on the channel for a while, you might have. But the past couple of years, since, you know, I've been working on my save, every time we've gotten a new world with the pack, I've suddenly been super inspired to like build for the world for my save, and I'll end up doing maybe like 3 or 4 builds for my save file like right after the pack comes out, and then I won't touch the world again for the next couple of months while I focus on other save file stuff. But yeah, I have definitely fallen into that little like pattern, I guess you could say, again with Chestnut Ridge, and I just have a lot of ideas for it that I want to do for my save file. So I'm kind of like, I'm trying to capitalize, I guess you could say, on all of the ideas that I have for my save and trying to get as many of them done as I possibly can. But talking a little bit more about this house in particular, we're actually building on a 20 by 20 lot. This is in the new Appaloosa neighborhood. So basically like the, I guess you could say, main town area of Chestnut Ridge. And this is the Cozy Corner House lot. So originally there used to be a starter home on this lot built by nectar. But obviously, you know, in my save, I do try and add in as many actual families as I can, and whether that's, you know, the in-game families or whether that's completely new sims that I create with new stories and, you know, all of that stuff, I try to add in as many of them as I can. So sometimes I will try and leave, you know, maybe one starter home. I try to like aim to have like at least one starter home in every world. But yeah, I'm not going to be leaving any of the houses in this like world that were starter homes. I'm not going to be leaving any of them as starter homes basically. So yeah, all of the other starter homes in this world are going to be completely changed and either changed up into family homes or maybe a community lot here or there or whatever. But I will be putting in at least one starter home. I just don't know exactly where I want to do that yet. I'm thinking about maybe the 20 by 15 lot in the Galloping Gulch area that currently, if you start a new game, it has a rental cabin on it that was built by Simproved. So I'm thinking about turning that lot into a starter just because it's a 20 by 15. So it's really small. I don't have to worry about, you know, having a lot of space to fill for a starter. And also because it's only a 20 by 15, it's also the cheapest lot. So I figured, you know, using a cheap lot for a starter usually makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I'm thinking about using that one as a starter home and then changing up all of the other lots. But yeah, so this house is actually a really tiny, not tiny, but I mean it's on a 20 by 15 lot. So yeah, it's not super big. It takes up most of the lot, if I'm being completely honest. But I honestly, this family that I had in mind that were going to live here for my save file, I have created them already. So you will see them standing outside actually in front of the lot. But the family that I have living here, they're not super into, like, I guess, I don't want to say animals because they do love animals. They have a dog, but they're not going to be having like goats and sheep and, you know, cows from cottage living and horses or anything like that. So I felt like using up most of the lot space for their actual house was fine, because they're a little bit more focused on the nectar making aspect of this pack. So obviously I am trying to incorporate a lot of the horse ranch gameplay, I guess you could say, for the sims and for the houses that I build in this world, just because it makes sense. It makes sense to do that because I'm not going to go ahead and go to like, I don't know, what other world? Maybe, yeah, cottage living like Henford on Bagley could probably have some of this stuff like horses and horses and goats and sheep and stuff. But I'm not going to go into Newcrest, for example, and suddenly build a winery in Newcrest or build a horse stables in Newcrest. Like, it doesn't make sense. So because this is a very country, farm, ranch themed world, I kind of want to use those items and that gameplay wherever I can. So yeah, this family is a little bit more focused on the nectar making aspect of that. So we have two parents, obviously. We have, what is their name again? I can't remember their name. Jaleel, I don't know. JD? I can't remember. I have my spreadsheet that I have for all of my save file stuff, where I put in like some names, their lots, their traits, their like lifestyles, skills, you know, all of that stuff, to kind of just keep track of it all. I have that open, and I don't know, I think I might have misspelled the dad's name. On my spreadsheet it says JD, but I think it's I don't know. I honestly, for some reason, I feel like I misspelled that name, or I misspelled his name, but I don't know, it might be right. Either way, it doesn't really matter. But I will have this family up on the gallery as well. So as soon as this video goes out, the build will be up on the gallery, and I'll make sure to upload the Sims as well, so that if you guys want to download them and, you know, play with them in this specific house or in any other house, then you can totally do that. They will come with skills, they'll come with, you know, a bunch of extra traits, they'll have skills, they'll have careers, they'll have, you know, lifestyles and all of that stuff. I always do that for all of my save file Sims. Like, I always set up all of that stuff, which is why it takes me so bloody long to like finish a world for my save, because I set up all of that stuff. And those are just the things that actually translate over, or like copies over to the gallery. Some of the other stuff that I set up, like relationships with each other as well as with other Sims in the neighborhood and in the worlds, that doesn't obviously translate over to the gallery, but I set all of that up in my save. I set up clubs and like all of those stuff. That there's so much behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, so basically we have the dad. I'm just gonna call him Jay for now because, yeah, like I said, I think I might have misspelled his name, or I just can't remember it. But yeah, so we have the dad, and he's the one that's a little bit more into the whole nectar making aspect of everything. He does have a part-time job. He works part-time as a landscaper, so he's in that like manual laborer part-time thing. So in my head, you know, maybe in my head he probably doesn't work as a landscaper. He might actually work a little bit more like as a handyman type thing. Unfortunately, in the game we don't have that as a career, so in my head he would work more in construction, if that makes sense. So he'll like occasionally do the odd construction job, maybe for like a neighbor or maybe someone else that he knows or whatever. He'll do like the odd small construction job here or there. Unfortunately, like I said, that doesn't really exist in The Sims, so we're just gonna have to pretend. But yeah, he does have a part-time job, but the main, like, his main focus is his nectar making. So I do end up putting in a couple of gardening plots at the back of the house, where I do put in obviously a bunch of grapes and other things that the Sims can use to make nectar. And then you might have noticed, but I did put in a basement as well, and the basement is basically where he's going to do all of that nectar making stuff. So that is also where I add all of the storage racks for it. I end up putting a bar down there as well as a games table, so it is a little bit more of a like gathering space. You know, when he's not working, he can gather down there with friends or maybe family or whatever. They can play some board games, they can, you know, listen to music, all of that stuff. And then also, before I forget, I did actually forget to put in a laundry machine and dryer in this build. I don't think I kept in, I didn't keep in any of the footage of me doing the bathrooms either, but I will show you those obviously at the end in the tour. But yeah, I do have 2 bathrooms in this house, and there's 3 bedrooms. I don't think I mentioned that either. But yeah, there's 2 bathrooms, 3 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms upstairs with a bathroom, kind of like the family bathroom for the kids. And then downstairs we have the main bedroom with another family bathroom, which it's kind of mostly just for the parents, but it might also be the one that, you know, guests use because it is on the first floor. But it's not an ensuite or anything like that. It just connects to the hallway. But yeah, both of the bathrooms have like shower tub combos. They have like all of the stuff that your Sims could need. That is also where I put in the laundry baskets. And then actually when I went to playtest this build and I playtested it with the family, I actually noticed that my Sims, like, they couldn't do laundry. And then I remembered like, oh shoot, I didn't put in actual laundry machines. And honestly, I don't know how I forgot that. Probably because I bought this lot, or like this house, over the course of a couple of days. And I worked on it. And then I worked on something else. And when I came back to it, I had kind of like forgotten like some of the things that I knew I needed to add. So at the end of the day, I kind of just made a little bit of like an extra space in the basement, a little extra tiny room in the basement where I ended up putting the laundry stuff. But I don't do that on camera, but I will show you it in the tour at the end. So yeah, there is laundry. I did kind of have to put it in as an afterthought, but it is there. So yeah, that should be totally fine. But yeah, so like I was saying, the dad is the one that's a lot more into like actually nectar making and gardening and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. So that is his whole thing. And then the mom, Drina, her name is Drina, I'm saying that so wrong, but she is actually the twin sister of Diego Lobo from San Myshuno, who's, yeah, I mean, I've never played with Diego, like I've never actually gone in and like played with him. But I did give him a makeover, obviously, for my save file, and I have also already built him a brand new penthouse in San Myshuno that went up months ago, which I will leave linked on the screen. But yeah, I am trying with my save to also give some of the existing EA townies a little bit more depth to them, a little bit more story to them, and like, you know, stuff like that. So for a couple of them, I am giving them extended family. Like, you know, for the Pleasant twins in Brichester, for Lilith and Angela, I actually ended up creating their parents from The Sims 2. And, you know, I ended up recreating Dirk and Darren Dreamer as well, because it just made sense. But yeah, I am going in and giving some of the existing families a little bit extra family, if that makes sense. Like for the Goths, for example, I didn't do this in the first version of my save that's already out, but I did do it, and I did do it for the second version, so it will be in that, you know, once it comes out. But for the Goths, for example, I went in and I created a bunch of their ancestors. So like Cornelia and Gunther and, you know, all of those Sims that in The Sims 2 had already passed away, and their graves were actually on the Goths, like, family lot. That's kind of the whole thing with the Goths in The Sims 1, 2, and 3. They always had this graveyard in the back of their house, and it had all of their, like, ancestors in it. So I've kind of gone in and done the same thing with The Sims 4. I've actually created their ancestors, and I did unalive them and have their urns, like urns and tombstones. Obviously, I did build the Goth's house years ago, so I didn't put in a, like, graveyard on their lot. But anyway, doesn't make sense. The ghosts are around, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So I am trying to go in and, like, add to some of the existing families to, like, give them more depth and make it so that they have extended family and they know other people, and there's a reason for them to know other people, if that makes sense. So basically, Diego has a twin sister, and if you guys know Diego at all, he is very much a, like, city sim. He is not someone that I would ever picture being anywhere near a farm, like, at all. Like, he would not be caught dead wearing, like, chaps and cowboy boots and, you know, riding a horse or picking up horse manure or anything like that. He would not be caught dead doing that. So I figured it was kind of funny incorporating that into my version of his backstory. So in my head, he grew up in Chestnut Ridge. He and his sister Drina grew up in Chestnut Ridge. This is where they are originally from. And I don't know, this probably wasn't their house. Maybe it was their house. Maybe this is actually where they grew up. But yeah, so basically in my head, the moment that he could, the moment it was time for them to go off to university, he was just like, "Foop, out of here," and he's never set foot back in Chestnut Ridge. He just does not want to come back. He is perfectly happy with his life in San Myshuno, and he's kind of the total opposite of his sister, basically. So Drina is a lot more... She's a lot more earthy. She's a lot more like their parents were, for example. So both of their parents in my head were very much farmers. They were ranchers, they were farmers, they basically grew up on this land. And she's very much still like that. She loves being outside, she loves gardening, she loves, you know, just the whole small town life that they have here in Chestnut Ridge. But she did obviously also go off to university. She didn't just stay in Chestnut Ridge. She did go off to university. And I think I have her in my save file. I think she attended... Yeah, she attended Foxbury. So, yeah, she attended Foxbury and she actually got a language and literature degree. So, she's actually working as a teacher. So, in The Sims, you don't really necessarily have specific... like branches for teaching. Like, she's not specifically an elementary school teacher or a kindergarten teacher or, you know, stuff like that. That's just not how the career levels work. But in my head, she'd probably be like either a kindergarten or like early elementary school teacher, and she just teaches at the local school. So she's very much like, she's very casual, she's very like happy-go-lucky. She is a little bit of a hothead like Diego. That is something that they do have in common. But all of their other traits and likes and dislikes and stuff is set up in a way where they have an awful compatibility. Like, they are complete and total opposites. They do not get along. They actually have, I believe, a difficult family, what do you call it, like family relationship, family dynamic. So they actually have a difficult family dynamic. I figured, you know, maybe even since they were children, they were very much like opposites. Diego always had this big dream of moving to the city and, you know, following that dream of his, whereas his sister very much, she kind of like didn't understand that. She never got the idea of, she never understood why he would want to leave Chestnut Ridge and this community and all of that stuff. So they've never gotten along. They still really don't get along, like, at all. In my head, you know, maybe Drina and her husband and their 2 daughters, that because they do have twins. So in my head, you know, twins probably runs in their family. But they do have twin girls. They have Louisiana and Lumina, who, again, kind of like mirroring their mother and their uncle's relationship. They're very much total opposites. So you will see with the way I've already furnished the 2 kids' rooms. Lumina's bedroom is the one with all of the red and the black and all of that stuff. She's a lot more into like void critters and chemistry and all of that stuff. She is a goofball. She's also a lot more mischievous. So she does like playing pranks on people. In my head, you know, she's not mean. She's not like a mean sim or anything like that. She doesn't like being mean, but she likes being mischievous. She likes playing pranks on people and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. That is kind of like her whole thing. Whereas Louisiana is a lot brighter. They're basically like polar opposites. So Louisiana is a lot more creative. She's a lot not nicer, but like, I guess you could say cheerful. Cheerful is actually her trait. So Lumina is a goofball, and then Louisiana is cheerful, and she's a little bit more like, you know, she likes jokes, she likes all of that kind of stuff, but she tends to be the butt of her sister's pranks. So her sister tends to be the one that's playing pranks on her, so she doesn't like that all too much. But other than that, they do get along. They don't have a distant or difficult family dynamic at all. They're actually jokesters, is how I set them up. So they're both kind of like, you know, she doesn't necessarily like that her sister plays pranks on her and stuff like that and is mischievous. But they do also have quite a few laughs together and all of that stuff. So they're not exactly like their mom and uncle, but they are opposites like they were. So yeah, that is their family, and I really like that. I kind of liked, you know, almost mirroring those like family, I guess, dynamics, almost like those family like traits, I guess you could say, of having the two twins that are kind of opposites and, you know, all of that stuff. But in my head, you know, Diego does know his nieces. I figured, you know, maybe Drina and her husband maybe visited the city a couple of years ago when the girls were maybe like toddlers or something, because they're children now. But maybe when they were toddlers or maybe infants or something, they visited the city, they visited Diego. But that was years ago in my head, and they haven't seen each other since. So the twins actually have a distant family dynamic with Diego, because that just made sense to me. Like, I don't think they would ever talk or anything like that. Diego never comes to Chestnut Ridge, and it's not like they're going to go to San Myshuno to vacation or anything like that. So yeah, I don't know, I just figured they wouldn't really have a lot of contact. But maybe if you guys want to play with these Sims, and if you ever end up downloading the second version of my save file when it's out eventually, and you want to have them like actually make up and, you know, be a better family, or like be a closer family, I guess I should say, then feel free to do that. Let me know how that goes, because yeah, it should be really fun to see, because yeah, like I said, they do actually have awful compatibility. Diego and Drina, they literally have like an awful compatibility. So if you guys can actually have them become friends and become close, then that would be like a little bit of a minor miracle, to be honest. But yeah, so we've actually finished the majority of the house. We actually also have this, I guess, semi like almost greenhousey type extension on the side of the house, where I actually end up putting the flower arranging table, because in my head Drina does do a little bit of flower arranging. Like I said, she is still very much like outdoorsy, all of that stuff. Even though she does have a full-time career, she still enjoys doing stuff like that. So she does some flower arranging. So in that greenhouse space is basically where I put all of her flowering plants. So everything that she could use for her flower arranging is in there. And then the last room that we're going to be working on is this basement nectar space, kind of. So this is where, you know, the dad would make his nectar. It's where they would store it as well to age it. It's also where I put the bar for them to do like tastings and stuff. And I also end up putting in a games table. Like I said, I have a little like stereo down there, and I don't know, I figured this would just be a really nice place for them to maybe like have family nights, you know, play some puzzles, build some puzzles, play some card games or whatever. Or maybe if the dad has like a guy's night and he has all of his friends over, this is where they could spend that. And right now I'm putting these like, what would you call them, like trellises, like lattice trellises with the plants on that wall. But that is actually where I'm going to be putting the door to the laundry room once I add that. So at the end of the day, I do end up moving them slightly more to the other side of the room. But yeah, I'll show you guys all of that in the tour at the end. But yeah, so that is basically the entire, like, I guess you could say house portion. Now, as you can see, the lot itself isn't all that big. So the space that I have left, I can't really do much with. So at the end of the day, I just have those flower, I guess not flower, but like gardening plots at the back. And then in the front, I just put in that debug. I think it's a debug well, or maybe it's actually in the catalog. But either way, it's from Get Famous. It's one of the set pieces, I think, from Get Famous. Just to make it look like they have a well on their lot. But it's not functional, it's just decorative. And then I just do some landscaping. I also put in a fire pit. And that is basically it for the outside. I also put in a picnic bench, I believe. Yeah, I put in a little picnic table and then a grill up on that like side porch area, just a small grill. I think I used the one from the, I think, toddler pack, I think is the one that came with the grill, maybe the toddler stuff pack, I could be wrong. But yeah, I keep the landscaping fairly minimal. It's mostly just green stuff, and obviously because this area of the world is a little bit more dry, I guess you could say, I try to keep that in mind with the landscaping and not go too like vibrant and green and overgrown, because again, just doesn't fit in with the world. But yeah, that is basically going to be it for this speed build. We're just going to be doing a couple of finishing touches, you know, fire pit, some terrain painting, and then I'm also going to go into debug and grab these, like, I guess you could say grass bits that kind of match the world around it, just to make it look like, you know, there is a little bit of like dimension, I guess you could say, to the rest of like the open spaces and the sand and stuff around the lot, just to make it look a little bit more interesting. And oh yeah, I also put in a couple of these like wind chime things from, I don't think I remember what it came with. It might have been the Perfect Patio stuff pack, or maybe the Movie Hangout stuff pack or something. Either way, it came with a stuff pack that we got years and years and years ago, and I always forget that those things exist. So yeah, I ended up putting 2 of them on this lot. But yeah, that is basically going to be it for this video. We're actually gonna, like I said, go ahead and jump into the game and take a little bit of a better look around this lot with the live tour. But if you want to download this build, I will have all of the download information down below: lot size, original lot, price, you know, all of that stuff. My gallery ID is also down there, as well as hashtags that you can search. And then I will also have a direct gallery link to the gallery website below, and then tray files will be up for channel members. And then in 3 weeks, they'll be going up on my Tumblr as well for everyone. But yeah, that is basically it, you guys. If you like this, give it a like. If you're new to the channel and you want to see more sim stuff, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. But yeah, let's head on over to the game and into the tour, where I'll show you guys around a little bit more. Okay, so here we are in the game, and this is the finished farmhouse. Like I said, it's a very rustic, a little bit more, not really run down, but it is a little bit more rustic. It has all of the, you know, grasses growing around it just to make it blend in with the world a little bit more. But yeah, so this is our little farmhouse. Out the front, obviously, we don't have a lot of yard space, so we just have a little fire pit, this decorative well from Get Famous, a little picnic table. Oh yeah, that is the grill that I ended up using, and I do think it is from the toddler stuff pack. But yeah, around the back, obviously, we have the little gardening space for the dad to grow his grapes and all of that stuff. And that is basically the entire exterior of this lot. Like I said, it's not a very big lot or very big house either. So yeah, on the front porch, obviously, we have a couple of rocking chairs, some more seating, and then we have we're getting right into the living room as you walk in the front door, where obviously, you know, TV, fireplace, couches, all of the regular like living room stuff. I tried to make the interior and all of the furniture items feel very cozy, very lived in. Like, a lot of it is probably hand-me-downs. Like I said in the voiceover, I figured the mom Drina grew up here with her brother Diego. This is their like family home. So yeah, a lot of the stuff I figured, you know, would have been here since maybe they were kids. So yeah, I wanted to give it that very lived in, cluttered, you know, kind of hand-me-down look, and I absolutely love the way it turned out. So yeah, we have the cozy little living room that actually has the dining room right next to it. That's the mom, by the way, that's the mom. But yeah, we have a little small dining room, a little desk over here in the corner with the staircase. I ended up moving a couple of things over here when I playtested it. I just moved this trunk a bit and moved, you know, the parenthood board, all of that stuff. But yeah, like I said, it is fully playtested, so it all works. And then these doors are actually, I don't know if you guys noticed it in the speed build, but these are actually normal doors and archways that I just used the tool mod to rotate the doors a little bit and then move them into position to make it look like the doors are just standing open. So I love that little touch. But yeah, so coming through here, we have the kitchen, which also like looks through into the living room, which I actually really like that. I love the idea of being able to, like, you know, maybe wash the dishes and be able to talk to someone in the living room, or washing the dishes while you're watching a show or something. I love that. And yeah, so we have a cute little kitchen. I put up a couple of like kids clutter stuff, like maybe the girls made that as a birthday thing, or you know, painted the bread box, all of that small little details. And oh yeah, this is actually Lumina. This is one of the twins. She's getting some leftovers apparently. But yeah, so that is the whole like living space. Now going back here, we have the main bedroom. So this is the parents' bedroom. Oh yeah, and the dad's name is Jadil. I'm saying that so wrong, but it's not JD, it's Jadil. I just like misspelled it on my spreadsheet. But yeah, so that's the dad and the mom. But yeah, so we have a nice little like main bedroom for them, you know, some bedside tables with a lot of clutter. Like I said, a lot of the stuff I figured, you know, maybe they're old things that they haven't stored yet, or maybe there's stuff that they still need to put up with all of those paintings over there. We have some space for them to put up some family portraits as well. Some, you know, dresser, all of the regular stuff. Another pet bed for the dog. We have their open dresser wardrobe area as well. I've been loving doing this. I did this in one of my early access videos. And I love the look of having these two, I guess, wardrobe things, and then having this more like closed rack looking thing in the middle. I like the way that looks. So yeah, we have the main bedroom. Then going through here, this is actually a little like semi, I guess, hallway mudroom type thing. But that's where I have the trash can as well as the dog food. And this is where you access the downstairs bathroom. That's basically like the main, I guess, main bathroom. Or like this is the one that guests would probably use. It's also the one that the parents use. So yeah, we have double sinks, toilet, shower, you know, all of the normal, I guess you could say, bathroom stuff. And then this is also where you access the basement, which we'll go into in just a second. But you also have access to this little, like, I guess you could say almost greenhouse type space. So this is where the mom can do her flower arranging. I have obviously all of the like flowering plants in there. I have some storage, some, you know, standing planters. I also have the scouts board in here because both of the girls are actually in the scouts in my save. So I do have that. And then this just leads you onto the, I guess, side entrance, side balcony, side porch, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, let's go upstairs first, actually. So going upstairs, we have a little hallway space with a walk-in closet, actually. So I do have that. And then, yeah, just a little hallway space that I decorated off camera. And then we have the upstairs bathroom. That's basically the bathroom that the girls share. This is kind of the... They're the only ones that kind of uses this bathroom. So in here, I tried to... Oh yeah, this is the other daughter. This is Louisiana. So yeah, I tried to make this bathroom look very distinctive. Like you could very clearly see both of their personalities. So basically, Louisiana loves yellow. It's one of her favorite colors. Whereas Lumina hates the color yellow. She actually dislikes it. So... you know, having all of the yellow stuff in the bathroom is something that Lumina actually hates. Whereas Lumina loves black, but Louisiana actually hates the color black. So I tried to make it look like they have kind of their own separate sides of the bathroom almost. So they have their own separate sinks. They have their own separate towels. And, you know, they even have their own separate, like, laundry baskets for their clothes. And then the other stuff, like, you know, the pink, you know, cabinet and the sinks and stuff, I figured they're all kind of, like, either white or pink because their mom kind of just chose those colors because, in a way, they're, like, safe colors. Like, both of the girls don't, like, both of them like pink. So having pink stuff is fine. But yeah, so I figured that would be a really fun thing to do. So that's what I did for their bathroom. And then we just have their two bedrooms upstairs. Both of them are very cluttered, very detailed as well. So yeah, starting off with Lumina's bedroom. This is the more like black and red room that I figured Louisiana would never set foot in. So yeah, it's a lot more, I guess you could say, I don't know. Apart from having stuff like the toy box and the little teddy bear and like the chemistry set, this could easily also be a teenager's bedroom in my opinion. Like it could easily pass as a teenager's room. But yeah, so we have a lot more like black and red furniture. Definitely stands out from the rest of the house, but I kind of like that. I feel like that is something that she would do. So we have a lot of posters and clutter, like messy clutter. We have her bright red desk, which I figured, you know, maybe it's an old desk that she asked her mom if she could paint, and she painted it bright red. So yeah, we have her bright red desk. She's a little bit more into, like, I guess you could say science. So she has her little chemistry set. She has a skeleton bear, because why not? And yeah, then just some, obviously, dresser, some seating, you know, toy box, all of that regular kid stuff. And then next to it, we have Louisiana's room that is the total opposite. So it's very yellow wallpapers. She has a really old, like, antique yellow desk as well. So yeah, she also has a lot of stuff on the walls, like posters, and a lot of it is more like artwork, so stuff that she maybe made herself. So maybe she made this little, like, unicorn over here in the corner with the teddy bear, and, you know, all of the pictures of her friends, and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. It's a lot brighter. It's a lot more, I guess you could say, unicorny. So yeah, she has the unicorn bedspread, and, you know, a lot of yellow, pinks, and blues, and she's into crocheting or like cross stitch. So she has a little cross stitch basket. She has a little activity table, you know, all of that stuff. So very cute, very colorful. I loved doing these 2 bedrooms. It was so much fun. And then the last room we have is actually the basement. So in the basement, obviously, like you guys saw in the speed build, we have a little bar area. We have a bunch of nectar storage racks. We have the nectar maker itself, a little games table as well. And then I put in these big murals from the new pack. And then, yeah, these are the little trellises that I ended up moving a little bit so that I could fit in this little tiny laundry space. So it's nothing special, literally just a shelf, a ironing board, and the laundry machines. It's not like super detailed or anything like that, but it gets the job done. So yeah, that is basically the entire basement and the entire house. So I'm going to give you guys a little top-down view of the house. So let me just get the grid on. So yeah, this is the top floor, the, I guess you could say, main floor, and then we also have the basement. But yeah, that is the entire build, you guys. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give the video a like. If you're new to the channel and you'd like to see some more Sims content, feel free to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell as well to be notified of whenever I upload a new video. And like I mentioned in the voiceover in the speed build, if you want to download this build, it will be up on the gallery. The family will also be up on the gallery if you want to go ahead and download them as well. And yeah, I'll have all of my gallery links, information, all of that stuff about the build, all of those things in the description as usual. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you're having a great day and a great week so far. And I'll talk to you guys all in my very next video. Bye everyone.